force was convened to review school district options. The school district considered several options, from repair to remodeling and adding of additional space to Brown Elementary. A community survey was also conducted, and that information guided the final recommendation from a facility task force to build a new pre-K through grade 5 elementary school. The school board decision to build a new elementary school was approved by the voters in April of 2019 with 75% approval. So why does the school district need to close Brown School? Continuing the operation of Brown Elementary requires duplication of staff and operating costs. Closing Brown Elementary will provide for greater efficiency in education programming and operating costs. The district has available adequate and safer buildings with appropriate spaces and more modern equipment at the new school that will provide enhanced instructional services to the former students of Brown Elementary School. The students, staff, and education materials will be relocated to the new school. Therefore, Brown Elementary will not be used. In December of 2017, a facility study shows the maintenance and deficiencies of Brown Elementary. The building is 60 years old and needs significant upgrades, as indicated in the charts you have before you. Site, exterior and interior, structural, life safety, hazardous materials, accessibility, plumbing, electrical, mechanical, and security conditions were all assessed and showed great need. Brown Elementary operational efficiency is poor, but if you look at the comparison between Brown and Hill, you will see a great difference. And if you compare those to the middle school, high school facility, which is much more modern, that facility operates on about 95 cents a square foot as compared to Brown. And you also know how much more the middle school, high school is used on a yearly basis. The assessment conclusion revealed this regarding Brown Elementary. $3.8 million in upgrades are needed, and $9.9 million in renovations would be needed to bring this facility up to current education program needs. To gain better insight from the community, the school board held a public meeting at the golf club to hear what people thought about the assessment. From that community meeting, the school board convened a facility task force to look at options and make recommendations regarding the future of facilities in the school district. The facility task force met 4 times and considered 5 options. Option 1 was to keep both elementaries and to repair and renovate them. The second option was to keep one elementary school with repairs and renovations for a pre-K to grade 5 facility. The third option was to keep one elementary school with repairs and renovations for a pre-K through grade 4 facility. Option 4 was a new pre-K to grade 5 facility, and option 5 was a new elementary pre-K through grade 4. The task force also had other considerations in safety and why 5th grade should come up or not, and also on the safety considerations at the middle school, high school. Midway through this process, the facility task force requested a community survey to gather information and public opinion regarding the options, tax impacts, and other information. The survey was conducted in the fall of 2018, and the results were considered by the task force. The survey included demographics from our community, and opinions of all the options, considerations of the grade levels, and tax tolerance levels. The task force reconvened for a final meeting to consider the options and give a recommendation. And option 3A was chosen from the options that were available. In the fall of 2018, the Facility Task Force presented to the school district a recommendation for a new pre-K through grade 5 elementary school at the present middle school high school site at a cost of $26.8 million. The school district then moved forward with this plan and submitted a review and comment to the Commissioner of Education for approval to move forward with an election. The proposal was given a positive review and comment by the Commissioner of Education. School district then held informational meetings with the community regarding the election. The election was held April 9th, 2019, and there was 1,317 yes votes to 429 no votes. The question passed with 75% approval. This brings us to the bottom line. Brown Elementary will need significant maintenance for us to keep it open in the amount of $3,800,000. To accommodate learning needs, 20,700 square feet of space is needed at an estimated cost of $9.9 million. Utility efficiencies and savings are estimated at $31,000 a year. Maintenance efficiencies are estimated at $18,000 per year. Staff efficiencies are estimated at $55,000 per year. Pipestone area schools will have a brand new elementary school starting in the fall of 2021 that meets all the needs of our children and staff. Closing Brown Elementary School will provide extensive cost savings to the school district through a more efficient operation of a new school, and the bones of this facility just do not have the capabilities of meeting the educational and learning needs of this community's children. Alexander Hugh Brown has served its purpose and should be retired. This ends the school district's testimony on why we would recommend the closure of Brown Elementary. Does the board have any questions or is in need of any further information?
Any questions for the meeting? Any? Okay, then we will move on. At this time, members of the public are invited to speak in favor of or in opposition to the proposed closing of Brown Elementary. As I mentioned at the beginning of the hearing, I would call for people to testify in the order that they appear on the roster. If you would like to speak and have not already done so, please print your name on the speaker roster that is located at the gym door. Also, if you are a member of a group, we ask that one member is designated as a spokesperson or representative. When you are called to speak, please state your name and address. In order to keep things moving, I encourage speakers to limit their presentation to 5 minutes. In order for the recorder to accurately record the testimony, I ask that only one person speak at a time. So the first one up will be Shane Reinhardt.
Good evening, my name is Shane Reinhardt. I live at 501 5th Street Southeast here in Pipestone. I'm here tonight representing the community and more specifically Pipestone Youth Baseball. I agree with the decisions that were laid out. I also want to see the building demolished. What I'm speaking tonight about is the ball field that's located on the facility grounds, the Brown baseball field. Several years ago, over 60 local businesses and donors contributed to the original construction of the field. There's hundreds of volunteer hours by parents and other community members as well as the city workers from Pipestone. The field hosts many practices, games, and tournaments for the youth of Pipestone. I would like to see that the field stays as a part of this facility. We've taken steps already to work with school board attending meetings. We've approached the city, and we're hoping that we can see the school board and the city can work cooperatively to see that brownfield stays. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody have a question for Shane? Anybody? Shane, do you have dedicated papers or anything from the city stating that they would be willing to move forward on it?
Yeah, they sent an email to Mr. Peterson, and we went back to them and said that email isn't, an official document. So they're drafting some sort of letter that they would accept that as a donation, and then the city would provide the maintenance and stuff to the field.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? Anybody?
I know this is going to be a long process, we talked a little bit before, so, we have money also available we'd like to see it enhance the field. We'd like to donate a fence, but we can't put the cart before the horse too. If we put up a $5,000 fence and then the board decides to tear it down, that'd be really sad. So.
Yep. Okay, then we'll move on to the second one, Joan Stout.
Joan Stout, 725 130 Pipestone. I am in favor of moving to the new complex, but I would like to know what is going to happen with all this extra stuff that's in this building that's not going to make room. Is it going to be an auction? Is it going to be a garage sale? Is it going to be a free-for-all? Or are we just going to leave?
That, I believe, is something that will have to be gone through the board process as of yet.
You haven't thought about that yet?
Pardon?
You haven't thought about that yet?
Yeah, we have, but there's still processes in place that we will have to follow.
Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
There's this process that we're going through is a hearing of closing the building. The next phase, if the board decides to close it, is what to do with it and what to do with the contents. That's the next phase. And then whenever that is decided, then we have to actually do that. So there's like 3 steps in this whole process. This step is about hearing evidence and do we want to close this facility. That's what we have to do first. And then after that, if we do decide, if the board decides to close this building, then we have to decide what to do with it and its contents. So we have thought about it, but it isn't anything that is a part of this formal process.
Anything else, Joan?
No.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the third one, Paul Cunningham.
Hi, Paul Cunningham, 944 130th Avenue, Pipestone. I'm in favor of decommissioning the building. I've served on the task force that decided to build decided to push forward the new building and encourage people to support that. I'm a little bit with Joan on this, and I understand we're talking about a different thing tonight, but I would like to see some public input on what's going to happen when the building is decommissioned. What's going to happen to the building? We thought about possibly selling it. Have you looked at the market to see what the land's worth? Or, are we just going to put a bunch of tax money without looking at those other avenues? And I think Joan brings up a point she brings up, because what happened in the high school was a disgrace. Things were left there that were valuable. They were not auctioned. There was vandalism. I hope you guys will put in a process and have some community input on that, maybe even a committee to look at that and see what's the best way to move forward once the building is decommissioned. But I am in favor of decommissioning the building, and hope you guys will think about involving the community as you move forward in the transition.
Okay, and to address that, Paul, I know that even in the process of wanting to go forward to bring forward the vote, in all the committee meetings that were held, it was very adamant that the process does not end up the way it did with Central. And the whole board is very much, that will not happen. One way, shape, or form, we will see to it that the decommissioning of these facilities is done right. And again, it's a process that we're going to be starting to work on, and you know, it's tonight is just, you know, if somebody is here to say, hey, I want you to keep it open and this and that, but and to bring the concerns, you know, we don't want what we've seen before. And the board is very committed that will not happen.
Are you guys willing to take some public input committee to transition and maybe take some ideas about the building or what to do with the contents?
I think as we get a little farther into this, that's something the board will have to decide as to how they want to handle it and what processes they're going to use going forward. I myself would not be against it, but I'm one of 7, so, I mean, it's something the whole board is going to have to come together down the road. It's not something that will be decided tonight. This is just a fact-finding tonight, and we will definitely listen, and we've heard you, and Joan too, and Shane with what his request is. It is evident everybody wants the facilities, you know, closed. We know we have a new facility out there, and we will be moving to it. And I think going forward, it's a process of, okay, we know this part, and we know we can't end up like previous facilities did. And this board is committed not to let that happen. What the process will be yet, we're not sure yet on everything, but there will be a process that will take place and not allow that to happen.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to make a comment? Anybody else? Okay. Hearing none, then, the recording of today's hearing, as well as all of the exhibits received during the hearing, will be considered by the school board. In addition, the school board invites the administration and members of the public to submit proposed findings and conclusions for the board to consider. The proposed findings and conclusions must be provided to the superintendent Anderson no later than April 20th, 2021. Copies of the administration's proposed findings, once they are submitted, as well as copies of the exhibits submitted during today's hearing, will be available upon request in the district's main offices located at 1401 7th Street Southwest, Pipestone, Minnesota, 56164. You may submit a letter containing your testimony to the school board anytime before its April 26, 2021 meeting. You may also speak at that meeting if there is anything else you wish to add. With that, I don't believe we have any other business then. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Lance, do I have a second? Chrissy, all those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Meeting adjourned.
The majority of the board.
We'll call the meeting to order tonight. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Randy, do I have a second? Amy or Brian? Okay, is there any discussion on the agenda? Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor of the agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Jeff Potts. We are here to conduct a public hearing on the proposed closure of Hill Elementary by Independent School District 2689 Pipestone Area Public Schools. I will be serving as the facilitator for tonight's hearing. Minnesota Statute Section 123D.51 requires school districts to conduct a public hearing before they can permanently close a school. Pursuant to this law, anyone interested in presenting testimony regarding the proposed closing has the opportunity to do so. Both the district and members of the public may present evidence that supports their position. The purpose of today's hearing is to provide a description and location of the school that the district has proposed to close, as well as the rationale behind the proposed closure. The hearing also provides the members of the public the opportunity to testify about the proposed closing. Finally, today's hearing provides members of the school board the opportunity to consider the testimony and evidence before the regular school board meeting, where they will decide whether or not to permanently close the building, the school. Before the public testimony portion of the hearing, the district administration will present the rationale behind the proposed closing. If you would like to speak after the district's presentation, please sign up on the speaker roster that is located at the gym door. I will call speakers to testify in the order they appear on the speaker roster. Today's hearing involves the Hill Elementary School. At this time, Director of Teaching and Learning, Melanie Wellnitz, will present the district's reason for proposing to close the Hill Elementary School. Melanie?
Thank you, Chair Botts and Pipestone School Board. I will be presenting the facts regarding the need to close Dolson Hill Elementary School to the district and review of how we have come to this decision. Dolson Hill Elementary was built in 1956 on 6.13 acres located at 900 6th Avenue Southwest in Pipestone. The building is 26,090 square feet. The primary use of the building is for grades 2 through 4's education. 2017 facility condition assessment included $2.89 million of identified needs. February 18th community meeting raised numerous questions for the school board to consider. Summer 2018 facility task force was convened to review school district options. Considered several options from repair, remodeling, and adding additional space to Hill Elementary. Community survey was conducted, and that information guided the final recommendation from the task force to build a new pre-K-5 elementary school. The school board decision to build a new elementary school was approved by the voters in April 2019 with a 75% approval. So why does the district need to close Hill School? Continuing the operation of Hill Elementary requires duplication of staff and operating costs. Closing Hill Elementary will provide for greater efficiency in the educational program and operating costs. The district has available adequate and safer buildings with appropriate spaces and more modern equipment at the new school that will provide enhanced instructional services to the former students of Hill Elementary School. The staff, students, and educational materials will be relocated to the new school. Therefore, Hill Elementary will not be used. December 2017 facility study shows the maintenance and deficiencies of the Hill Elementary building. The building is 64 years old and needs significant upgrades as indicated in the charts you have before you. Site, exterior and interior, structural, life safety, hazardous materials, accessibility, plumbing, electrical, mechanical, and security conditions were all assessed and show great need. Hill Elementary operational efficiency is poor by comparison with our most modern facility, the middle school high school, which operates at 95 cents a square foot. and is often used a greater amount than this building is. The assessment conclusion revealed this regarding Oak Hill Elementary. $2.9 million in upgrades are needed, and $12.2 million in renovations are needed to bring this facility up to the current educational program needs. To gain better insight from the community, the school board held a public meeting at the golf club to hear what people thought about the assessment. From that community meeting, the school board convened a facility task force to look at the options and made a recommendation regarding the future of facilities in the school district. The facility task force met 4 times and considered 5 options. Option 1, keep both elementaries to repair and renovate. Option 2, keep one elementary school with repairs and renovations pre-K-5. Option 3, keep one elementary school with repairs and renovations pre-K-4. Option 4, new elementary pre-K-5. And option 5, new elementary pre-K-4. And this is just a further example of the school options that were given. The facility task force requested a community survey to gather information and public opinion regarding the options, tax impacts, and other information. This survey was conducted in the fall of 2018, and the results were considered by the task force. The survey included demographics and opinions of all the options, plus consideration of the grade levels and consideration of the tax tolerance levels. The task force reconvened for a final meeting to consider the options. And option 3A was chosen. In the fall of 2018, the facility task force presented the school district a recommendation for a new pre-K-5 elementary school at the present middle school high school site at a cost of $26.8 million. The school district submitted a review and comments to the Commissioner of Education for approval to move forward with an election. The proposal was given a positive review and comment. The school district held information meetings for the community regarding the election. The election held on April 9th, 2019 was 1,317 yes to 429 no. Question passed with 75% approval. The bottom line, Hill Elementary will need $2,898,235 in maintenance if we keep it open. To accommodate the learning needs, 27,200 square feet of space is needed at an estimated cost of $12.2 million. Utility efficiencies and savings are estimated at $35,000 per year. Maintenance efficiencies are estimated at $22,000 per year. Staff efficiencies are estimated at $56,000 per year. PAS will have a brand new elementary school starting in the fall of 2021 that meets all of the needs of our children and our staff. Closing Hill Elementary will provide extensive cost savings to the school district through a more efficient operation of a new school, and the bones of this facility just do not have the capacity of meeting the educational and learning needs of this community's children. Dolson Hill Elementary has served its purpose and should be retired. Are there any questions or further information that the school board needs?
Questions? Okay. Since none, we will move on to the next portion. At this time, members of the public are invited to speak in favor of or in opposition to the proposed closing of the Hill Elementary School. As I mentioned at the beginning of the hearing, I will call the speakers to testify in the order they appear on the roster. If you would like to speak and have not already done so, please print your name on the speaker roster that is located at the gym door. Also, if you are a member of a group, we ask that one member be designated as spokesperson or representative. When you are called to speak, please state your name and address in order to keep things moving. And and encourage speakers to limit their presentation to 5 minutes. In order for the recorder to accurately record testimony, I ask that only one person speak at a time. Currently, are there any listed? Deb?
That's the part that she chooses
Okay, Deb, did you choose to
No,
speak?
I choose not.
Okay.
I think I thought this meeting was for ideas of
Oh.
the future.
Okay. Hearing no other comments from the public, we'll move on. The recording of today's hearing, as well as all the exhibits received during the hearing, will be considered by the school board. In addition, the school board invites the administration and members of the public to submit proposed findings and conclusions for the board to consider. The proposed findings and conclusions must be provided to the Superintendent Enerson no later than April 20th, 2021. Copies of the administration's proposed findings, once they are submitted, as well as copies of the exhibits submitted during today's hearing, will be available upon request in the district main office located at 1401 7th Street Southwest, Pipestone, Minnesota 56164. You may submit a letter containing your testimony to the school board anytime before its April 26, 2021 meeting. You may also speak at the meeting if there is anything else you wish to add at that time. Does anyone have any comments they wish to contribute? None? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to close the meeting? Katie, do I have a second? Brad, all those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Meeting adjourned.
Oh, you're fine.